How do you receive your assignments, Gary? I think this is something new or relatively new, and I think this is very confusing to sellers as to who appoints you or who asks you to do the job.
Oh, great question.
Because it used to be that we could just call up an appraiser and say, "Hey, we're doing this loan. Could you just come over and appraise it?"
You can't do that
Doesn't
anymore?
work that way anymore.
Oh, no kidding. I wonder why.
Right. Well, in my practice, I focus primarily on non-lender work. I do very little lender work, but in when it comes to lender work,
What do you mean by that? Lender work?
for banks,
Okay. Okay.
right? And they're all regulated, and the banks there's been regulations put in place that separate the bank and the people who are making money from the loan from the appraiser. And they've separated them using usually a management company. They call them AMCs, appraisal management companies. And they've also, or some banks actually set up their own departments within the bank that have to order the appraisals. And these are people that do not have a commission or any kind of relation to the sale. So they're not calling up the appraiser and saying, "Hey, I need this number. Can you get it for me? And if you can, I'll get you lots of business in the future," because that was something that happened an awful lot prior to the last financial collapse. And they've tried really hard to eliminate it, and they've done, I think, a pretty good job of eliminating it. But in the process, there's other problems, and appraisers still get that pressure from other sources.
So it was a little too buddy. I understand that. Who polices you? Who keeps an eye looking over your shoulder and making sure you're doing things right?
The state regulators.
Okay. They come around and certify you, or?
Yep. They'll take your license away or fine you if you're not doing your job. And it's in Oregon, it's the ACLB, the Appraisal Certification and Licensure Board.
Okay. And you have to be licensed in every state that you work in, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So if you don't work very much with lenders, what other types of appraisals are there, Gary?
Estates, divorces, tax appeals, trusts, bankruptcies, foreclosures, condemnation, litigation.
Well, you mentioned divorce, and that they're not necessarily selling the house, but they need to determine a fair market value so that they can divide the assets equitably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about that? This is a whole new world to me. Things have value.
So a homeowner could call you for any of those reasons? Just call you directly?
Yep. They call me directly. And, that's why I work so hard to have a good website, and so people can find me online and give me a call.
Well, you do have a great website. I spent quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's good to know. All right, this is Gary Christensen. He's president of Quality Appraisal. What's your website address?
That's www.aqualityappraisal.com.
That made it pretty easy.
That was easy.
Look at that. Our telephone number is 503-786-9390. Gary's going to join us for the second half hour of Real Estate Today with the Han team on KPDQ.